Oh, welcome to another scripting tutorial. This is part 5, so this will be loops, all about loops and stuff like that. So let's get into it. So I'm inside a script right now, which is inside script service. So loops are a way to repeat a line of code, which is very useful for a lot of features like timers and stuff. I can't get ideas off the top of my head, so let's go over some loops. So while loop, so usually called a while true loop, but pretty much I'll type it out and then explain it. So while true do, so this is our while loop. So pretty much a while loop at the first line is while there's a if statement inside here do. So pretty much it repeats the script that's inside of here as long as the statement inside of here is true. Since true is always true, it's gonna repeat forever. So anything I put in here, it will print forever. Looping. But actually, you never want to do this because this will crash your studio. Or I mean, it will crash it for a pretty long time, but they added like a protection against it. So, okay, so what you need to do is add a wait in here. So you don't have to wait like 1 second or anything. You can literally just wait like a heartbeat or a frame and it'll work. So if I click play, it loops super fast. So it keeps on looping forever. It never stops until the game shuts down. We can actually shorten this by taking the task.wait and putting inside of here. This, I'm not sure what it exactly means, but it's pretty much while true to task.wait. And that was confusing. So yeah, you don't have to put true in here. You can just put task.wait in here and you can just loop. This will work just as fine. So that's a while loop. I guess I can also like put a part in here. Okay, I'm gonna put another part in here. I'm gonna do while task.wait 1. I'm gonna copy this. Actually, I'm gonna do like 0.2. Oops, 0.2. While I'm gonna rename this to part 2. So I'm gonna do while workspace dot part 2 dot yeah. So while so as long as there's a part named part 2 in workspace, we are going to loop. Actually, I gotta do find for child part 2. So this pretty much gives me the part 2, but if it doesn't exist, it returns nil. Otherwise, it will error. We will talk more about inbuilt functions in later episodes. So yeah, so while there's a part inside workspace called part 2, it will repeat this code in here. So I'm gonna just change the color of part 1. So workspace dot part dot brick color equals brick color dot random. So if we go in here, as you can see, it will pretty much give you a seizure. Oh, never mind, it's pretty slow. So if we delete the brick, I'm gonna go on server view for this. So if we click on this brick and delete it, the loop stops because now it's returning nil. So find for child, it tries to find a instance with the name that you give it, and if it can't find it, it gives you nil. And yeah, because nil, I'm checking if there's a part. So pretty much if there's not a part, it breaks out of the statement. We covered this in the last video about if statements and stuff. So yeah, this is while loops. They're very useful for like making a system where you need to wait for players to join in. So the next loop is going to be a repeat until loop. So repeat until loop, it's pretty much the exact same thing as a while true to loop, but it's kind of in a way a reverse while true to loop. So repeat until, so this will repeat whatever is inside here until this statement is true. So yeah, it's pretty much a while true to loop, but you check after you have executed the code. So workspace dot part dot brick color equals brick color.random. Actually, I think this will run once actually. Forgot to wait. Test.wait. So yeah, this will run once until true. Yeah, it ran once because it's true. So until the true is true, which is always true. That was confusing, but yeah, you can do like until workspace find first child part 2. Yeah, part 2. I'm gonna rename this into part 3. So it'll repeat this pre-called at random until there's a part named part 2 inside of workspace. So let's go to server view inside workspace. Let's choose part 3. Let's rename it to part 2, and it stopped. So that's repeat loops and while loops, and you should understand them very quickly. They're very simple loops. Yeah. While true loops, repeat loops, so we just covered those. Now comes the hardest loop of them all, in my opinion, which is a for loop. So to demonstrate this, I'm gonna quickly just make a bunch of parts in here, and I'm gonna put them all into a model. So if you actually play this, they should glitch out and all become separated. Yep. So let's say you had like, I don't know, you just wanted to recolor all of these parts. Well, you will probably want to go through each part inside the model, right? So yeah, that's what you can use for loops for. There's another reason you can use them, which I'll show later. So let's first off make a variable for our model. So local parts equals workspace.model parts. Okay, there we go. We have access to our parts now. So next off, let's start changing the colors inside of this. So to use a for loop, I'm gonna do for I comma, I'm gonna type it out and then explain it. So for I comma v in parts get children do. So let me explain this. So for this is like you're starting a for loop, so this doesn't really mean anything. It just tells the script that you're making a for loop. So now these two values, they're very important. So these are pretty much, I guess you can kind of say variables, because you can name them whatever you want. So I could just name them this, but the most common use is I comma v, and these are shortened for index and value, which I'm going to keep right now for this tutorial purpose. But just remember that most of the times you'll see for I comma v, or you'll actually see an underscore. This pretty much means that they won't use this at all, so they'll just set it to an underscore because it's useless to you. You most of the times don't use index. So next is in. So this, I personally would say that this doesn't mean anything as well. So the next parameter is what do you want to loop through. In my case, so this takes in a table, and here's another built-in function of Roblox called get children. So this pretty much gets everything inside a instance and sets it inside a table. So this pretty much gets set to a table that has all of these parts in it, and this is what we're choosing to loop through. And then do, that also doesn't really mean anything. And now it loops through all of these parts, and we can modify them inside the loop. So let's do, so index would be like, so we learn table, so index would be like the index of the, well, which part we're looping through inside the table, and the value would be the actual part. So let's print out I. So these two dots concatenate a string, which pretty much means I'm combining this with another string. Dot v dot name. I want to print out the part name. Alright, it's index, I forgot. I'm used to I comma v. So if we run this, it prints out, so first part, name is part, and so on. And then the last part's name is part 3. So there's 11 parts. It gives out the index of each of them and the name of each of the parts. So let's actually change the color now. So since value is the part, you can we can name value part, and yeah, so it's easier to understand. So part dot brick color equals brick color dot new. You will usually do a check here as well to make sure that's it's a part, but we're not gonna do that right now. Let's just see what happens. And as you can see, oh yeah, because I did a dot new, I need to do it random. There we go. So as you can see, we loop through each part inside of the model and change the color of it. So that's a simple showcase of a for loop. Usually people add in pairs inside of here as well. This is more restricted to actual Lua, but we're doing it in Lua U, so they kind of remove the need for pairs. So you can just do, so yeah, if you see pairs, it's pretty much the same as this. I usually do myself pairs because I'm not sure, I'm just used to it. That's what I learned, but I eventually learned that you can just remove pairs. There's also ipairs. It's pretty much the same as pairs, but if you loop over a nil value, then it will break the loop. So I will show you what break, continue, and return does in a loop later. So we can actually, so let's loop and okay, I'm stuttering. Let's loop through an actual table. So local table. Oops, that's a numbers equals table. I'm gonna delete this for now. Let's put in some numbers. Okay, I don't care about the commas really. Let's remove these errors real quick. Boom, bam, boom. Okay, there we go. There's another one. Okay, so we have a bunch of numbers. I'm also going to sort it out real quick. Numbers there. So, let's see what I comma v will do here. I'm gonna add in a nil here. So let's do for I comma v in ipairs. We want the table that we want to loop through. So numbers do print I. Okay, some formatting v. So if you actually print this, it won't get to the end of the table. You can guess where it will stop. It's a pretty easy guess. So remember, ipairs, it loops through until it gets to a end or either reaches a nil value. So attempt to compare a nil to number. What? Oh yeah, because there's a nil inside of here. So actually, ipairs will automatically sort the table. So we don't even need to do table.sort. As you can see, it won't. Wait, what? Okay, I guess that's just a Lua thing. So in actual Lua, wait, no, it didn't. So yeah, as you can see, it stopped at 23, which is the fifth value inside our table, because it encountered nil and it breaked. Actually, let me take that back. So if we just do pairs, it will actually print out nil as well, or ignore it. Let's see, it's after 2, 3. Yeah, as you can see, it skipped an index here, so it didn't print out 6. So yeah, so so that was looping over tables and folders, or I mean models, parts. So let's talk about break and continue. So let's say you had a while true do loop here, or while task.wait do. So how would you go about stopping this if you didn't have an if statement up here, or I mean a condition up there? Well, for this you could use break. So I'm gonna print looping, and I'm gonna just break right after the looping. So if you run this, it'll actually run once, because what break does is it breaks out of the loop and doesn't continue. I also forgot to say, but loops, they will repeat here forever. it will never continue on until the loop gets stopped. But for the moment the break loop ended will never run. So it never runs because the loop never ends. So we can also use continue. So let's say okay, so let's say let me think of an example. So local a equals false. So let's do if not a, then return end. Now this shouldn't work if I'm right. Looping int loop ended. So should type loop ended. Not sure what the hell is going on. It's not doing. If not a, then return end. So yeah. Oh god, no, never mind. So yeah, you don't want to use return. This was a really bad example because I think it only works inside of functions. I'll make a function real local function loop. Okay, there we go, loop. Let's format everything real quick. So let's do loop. So yeah, remember functions, it will pretty much oops. Wait, do end needs to be end here. Oh wait, never mind. My bad. So yeah, if yeah, okay. So remember functions, it will still stop here forever because a function just goes to this line, executes everything inside, but it also will never exit out of the function. Actually it will, because we have a return, so it will it does loop ended. So how would we wait for a statement to be true and not break out of the loop? Well, that was bad wording, sorry about that, but pretty much I wanted to continue stopping yeah, pretty much I don't want it to print this if a is false, but if we use return it just ends the loop. So how do we avoid that? Well, you need to, instead of return, you need to use continue. So if you use continue, it'll print nothing. Before we used return, it printed loop ended because, well, it returned and the loop, I mean the function ended. So yeah, the loop ends as well then. So yeah, you want to use continue if you want to like skip everything inside the loop and start all over again. And all of the continue and break, they can be both used for loops and repeat loops. So for loops, you can actually do more with them. You can actually just like, if you want to like print out every number from 1 to 100, you can do that with for loops. So for I, so this again, you can name it anything. So you can, for I equals, I'll just type it out and explain. So pretty much it's again a for loop, but this time we're setting I to 1. So this is like a basic for loop. So this first, I'm gonna say argument in this case. So the first argument, it's the starting value. So we want to print every number from 1 to 100. So we want to start at 1. And then the second argument is the number that you want to end at. So we want to end at 100. Now, there's an optional third parameter, I mean argument, which is how much do you increase by. I want to do 1. I'll add comments as well. So start value. Okay, this is a bad start value, end value, increase. Okay, this is probably gonna look bad, but I'll just actually, yeah, that looks really bad. So yeah, we start at 1. We end at 100 and we increase by 1. So let's print out I and let's see what happens. As you can see, it prints every number from 1 to 100. So that's how you can use for loops to loop through one number to another. You can also do the reverse. You can start at 100, stop at 1 and increase, but we're going to do -1, so decrease by 1. And this will print from 100 to 1. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. I don't think there's anything else to cover. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll also do a quick script like yeah, I have a decent idea of what to do, so I'm gonna make a part real quick. Local part equals workspace dot part 3. So let's say we want to move the part in that direction forever, or until it reaches a certain point. So I'm gonna do let's see where we want it to stop. I'll make it stop like here. I'll also make it like neon real quick. So neon. Okay, so position, we want the Z position. So I'm gonna do this. Local end was C, so short for end position Z. Gonna be this. So while part dot position dot C is it right? I'm gonna move it back here. Minus. So while the C position of the part is higher than or equal to, or I mean higher than end plus C, end position Z, that sounded wrong, do want to move the part like, also quick control variables, local increase equals 0.01. Gonna first off to test.wait 0.01. I mean, I do 0.05, so half a millisecond, I think. We're gonna do part dot position equals vector3 dot new. The x is going to be the part position dot x. The y is going to be part dot position dot y. But the z is going to be part dot position dot z plus increase. This is some basic math. We can actually add values onto other values when assigning a property. So in this case, we're taking the C position of the part and adding on the increase, which is 0.001. Actually, no, we want to subtract it. So this should start moving forward. Okay, that's very slow. Let's increase 0. Okay, that's pretty slow, yeah. 0.01, and I'll put the increase to this. I'll also wait, like, let's start wait 5 seconds so I can get in there. Okay, so now it should start moving any second. We're not gonna move with it because it's not Roblox physics we're using. We're just moving the part position. So as you can see, this will move forever until it reaches that position. Just gotta wait. Not sure how much time this is gonna take, but I'm willing to wait, and I will not cut this. You guys will have to suffer through this as well. I mean, the tutorial is already over. I'm just showcasing what you can do with loops. I have no idea like of a good example, so I'll just do something simple like this. Not sure why this entertains me. Oh, it finished the end. Yeah, congratulations part. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to show you. So the daily challenge will be to make a, so yeah, the challenge will be to make the base plate, is to make the base plate shrink all the way down to the size of 0,0,0. The speed can be customized, like how fast you want it to size down can be customized. So I'll also show you how to make it real quick. So go ahead and pause the video, try to make it yourself first, and if you can't do it, then just I'll show you how to do it. So first I'm gonna make a variable for our base plate, so workspace.baseplate, and now we want to loop to a loop until the base is 0, 0, size is 0, 0, 0. So while base dot size is not equal to vector3 dot, so I think we can actually use vector3 dot 0. So that's the equal of doing vector3 dot new 0, 0, 0. So yeah, I think this is the same as this. So vector d0 do to local change value equals 0 point, actually I'll do 1. I think the base plate is pretty huge. Local change time equals 0 0.01. So we'll do test.wait, change time, base dot size equals vector tree dot new. Actually no, I'll just do base dot size. I think we can do minus equals, I'm not too sure. So this will pretty much subtract the value from the size and set it to the new value. Not sure if you can do this with vector trees, but we'll see. Vector tree dot new, change value, change value, change value. I think we can do it, or it's gonna error. Oh god, it works. Why is it doing this? So if we go to server view, oh god, that is making me puke. Oh my god, it's decreasing fast. I'm gonna jump on here real quick. So yeah, as you can see, it will decrease the size until it reaches 0, 0, 0. Wonder how thin it is already. Oh god, it's already like minimum thinness. It's going to end any minute, I mean second. And it's at 0. I think the loop stopped as well. I'll make it faster real quick. I'll do it like 0 0.001. And I'll do print loop ended. So yeah, also if you did, actually wait, oops. Also bonus points if you did it in like under 10 lines. So I'm gonna wait a real small value. Okay, let's see if the loop actually ends. Yeah, I think the base plate size is like 2048 by 16 by 2048. Okay, let's see. It's, oh yeah. Eventually we can actually make it smoothly size down using tween service or lerping. That will be a very interesting video. Gonna move the base plate here. I mean spawn location. Interesting. I mean yeah, it's actually okay. So it should say loop ended. Or we can't use vector tree.0. Vector tree.new 0, 0, 0. I guess I was wrong about that. So I'm just gonna set this to 0. We're gonna wait 0 seconds. Okay, now it should print. I did want to, while it's not equal to 0, 0. Oh god, I think it went into the negatives. Oh yeah, it's at 0 0.001. Does it all stop at that? Right, I can't change it here. Workspace, base plate. I'm gonna change the size down to 1. Okay, so I'll do 0 0.001. 0 0.001. But this seems to be value that it stops at, so I'll do this. Okay, let's see it work now. Y-axis gets set to 0 pretty quick. I'm gonna speed this up by setting the sizes down to 1. What the hell? My god, it's like a thin stripe. I wonder if you can stand on it. Oh my god, you can. Okay, I just died, but it's okay. So it's going to reach 0 0.001 any second. And loop ended. So yeah, kind of stretched the video, but whatever. If you didn't understand anything, just leave a comment below and I'll try to answer it. I really got nothing else to do, so yeah, it's the best time to ask. So yeah, that's while loops, repeat loops, for loops, experiment around with them. Try to make something cool, because you can definitely make that with loops. So just yeah, experiment around. It's pretty fun. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I think it's instance.new. I have no idea. Goodbye.